my innocent daughter, Annie, who lost her life here in Cape Town on a honeymoon, still remains incomplete. The full picture will only emerge when Shrien comes down to Cape Town and faces the trial. And the
28-year-old Anni Dewani was born to Vinod and Nilam in Sweden, where the family was granted residency after being forced to leave Uganda in the early 1970s after the country's president, Idi Amin, expelled all Asians living there. They settled in Mariestad, Sweden before Annie was born. Annie had two siblings, a sister named Amy and a brother named Anish. Annie's father did very well in Sweden after starting a successful business. Annie was very intelligent and an ambitious child, and her father couldn't help but spoil her with everything she wanted. After she graduated university, Annie moved to Stockholm to work in marketing. She was in her mid-20s and hoping to find a husband and settle down. She absolutely loved children and couldn't wait to start a family of her own. Annie was regularly seen in London socializing with friends and shopping. It wasn't long until she met 30-year-old Shrien Dewani. He was very successful and a millionaire before 30. He worked in his family's business. Annie and Shrien were set up on a date by her aunt, who thought they would make a lovely couple. Annie didn't like Shrien immediately, but warmed up to him after the second date. Shrien and Annie were soon meeting each other's families and made plans to marry. They had an extravagant wedding at Lake Powai near Mumbai on the 29th October 2010. The couple were excited for their honeymoon in South Africa. After landing at Cape Town International Airport in South Africa on 7 November 2010, Dewani and her husband took a domestic flight and stayed at Kruger National Park for 4 nights. On 12 November, the couple returned to Cape Town International Airport, where they met and engaged with taxi driver Zola Tongo to drive them to the 5-star Cape Grace Hotel. On 13 November, having retained Tongo as a tour guide, the couple were driven through the city in his Volkswagen into Gugulethu. Tongo drove to a surfside restaurant in Strand, where the couple dined. After their meal, Tongo drove the Dewanis back into Gugulethu. Shortly after they had turned off the main road, 2 armed men hijacked the vehicle. After driving a short distance, Tongo was let out of the taxi. Shrien Dewani was robbed of his money, wallet, designer watch and mobile telephone, and after being driven for about 20 minutes, he was also let out from the vehicle. On the street, a bystander assisted him by calling the police. On the 14th November, Anni Dewani was found dead in the back of the VW Shrien taxi. She had suffered a single gunshot wound to her neck. Police later confirmed Annie's Giorgio Armani wristwatch, a white gold and diamond bracelet, her handbag and her BlackBerry mobile telephone were missing, and assumed they were stolen. Arrests were made in the days following the crime. Hijackers facing life in prison. 2 of the accused later changed their stories to allege the crime had been a premeditated murder for hire at the behest of Annie's husband Shrien Dewani. Taxi driver, Zola Tongo, initially claimed to be an innocent victim of the incident, but faced with the weight of evidence implicating him in the crime, and in the wake of his fellow conspirators' allegations of a murder for hire plot, he too changed his story to allege the husband was the instigator. Plea bargains were offered to the conspirators in exchange for future testimony in legal proceedings related to the crime. The allegation of the husband's involvement made global headlines. Shrien Dewani's supporters denied the accusations, saying it was ludicrous to suggest he had solicited an attack on his wife from the first taxi driver he met within hours of their arrival in Cape Town. After a long legal battle, Shrien Dewani was extradited from the United Kingdom to South Africa on 7 April 2014. Upon arrival he was arrested, charged and ordered to stand trial for allegedly arranging the murder of his wife. He was charged with 5 offenses: conspiracy to commit kidnapping, robbery with aggravating circumstances, murder, kidnapping and obstructing the administration of justice. He pleaded not guilty to all 5 charges.
Sweden, but they feel that the 4 people who are in the car, apart from, that is, Annie, all have questions to answer. Now, 3 of them have been found guilty by the South African courts. They now want Shrien Dewani to turn up. He is, of course, fighting a legal battle against being extradited from Britain to South Africa. His psychiatrists say he's too ill to stand trial at the moment. He says he's suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome and depression following the death of his new bride. And also he feels he won't get a fair trial here in South Africa. But Anni Dewani's family are absolutely insistent he will get a... You're very emotional, very tearful. You clearly feel the South African authorities have let you down.
Yes.
So many unanswered questions.
Yes, go.
So will you be fighting further for justice? Okay, Annie's father there absolutely shouting that he did not feel that justice had been done. Clearly a very, very emotional, extremely angry family. Difficult to talk to them at this moment because they are so emotional, but her sister was absolutely, even despite her emotion, was absolutely clear she did not feel that justice had been done. She feels that the justice system has let them down, and I'm sure that's an indication because they've got their hands over their eyes. This family is very distraught. All of them, pretty much all of them crying, and Annie's father absolutely spitting with fury. I wonder whether we can get a bit closer, Galwin, and see, watch, and see whether we can get a glimpse of them through the window. Yeah, they've got their hands up to their faces. They are very, very upset.